Welcome to the new version of Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast, the podcast for real estate agents everywhere. I'm Lisa B, and together with Bjorn Kunzel, we're going to talk about everything real estate. We talk about what's working, what's not working, what's new, what's old, technology, and anything else to do with real estate. We'll answer your questions from the Facebook group Let's Talk About Real Estate. So if you have a question, we can help. Join the Facebook group today. And again, welcome to the show. Bjorn Kunzel, here we are, episode 2 together of Let's Talk About Real Estate.
Looking forward to it, Lisa. Looking forward to chatting about today's topics and today's issues and getting stuck straight in.
All right, okay. So this week or last week in Let's Talk About Real Estate, we posted something that said, what did you learn the hard way in real estate? So I'm going to go through some of the things that people said they learnt the hard way so others don't necessarily have to make the same mistakes, right? And whether they're wrong or they're right, we'll kind of discuss them. So not everyone has integrity. That's pretty sad, isn't it?
It is. There's not much you can do about that, though. So with things that you learn and things that you can change, you've got to look at what you can change and what you can't change. I don't think that's one that you can change, but it's one that you've got to be cautious of.
Yeah, exactly.
Be very cautious of the people you surround yourself in real estate.
Exactly. There's no loyalty in the game, friends, family, and clients.
I tend to disagree. I think, once again, that just comes down to personal experience and the individual. Mm-hmm. I've had it. I'm sure a lot of other people have had it, where a family member or a friend is listed with somebody else for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking.
Are you even in real estate if you haven't had that happen? Like, of course you're going to have that happen for one reason or another. You know, people are going to list with somebody else, or, you know, loyalty, they didn't buy through you, but you didn't have the listing, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's things, everybody's got a story, a backstory, don't they too?
I think what we've got to understand is it's a highly competitive industry from an agent's point of view. And it's right now, it's highly competitive amongst buyers as well and consumers. And when people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like this, let's face it, the real estate transaction is the biggest transaction that most people make in their lifetime. Okay, so it's a big deal for them. So we've got to understand that it's not about us; it's about them. Yeah. And we've sometimes got to separate ourselves. As much as it can be hurtful and as much as it can affect us emotionally, especially if it's a friend or family member, we've got to understand it's not about us.
No,
it's about them, because it is their hundreds of thousands of dollars whether they're buying. Yeah. Or hundreds of thousands of dollars whether they're selling. So really, we should really step back and just guide them and support them with whatever decisions they make, because it's not about us, it's about them.
Exactly. And if something happens, we just got to try and get over it as quick as we can. Even though it hurts, just got to dust it off and keep going. That's the sign of a good real estate agent.
It's happened to me before, and it's very hurtful, and it takes months to get over. But just understand that it happens to everybody, and it's not a reflection on you as an individual. It's just the way that it is.
Absolutely. Next one, not all coaching is good coaching. And that's true. And I think you've got to find the right person that you identify with, and for the right level that you're at. Yes. And you know what you resonate with. You know, sometimes things just don't resonate with you for one reason or another, and you've got to find what really suits you.
I think it's the same as not all agents are good agents, Lisa. Not all takeaway shops are good takeaway shops. You know, not all doctors are good doctors. Not all lawyers are good lawyers. It's like that with everything in life. And I think it comes down to two things. There's people that do things for money, and there's people that do things because it's what they're interested in, it's what they're passionate in, and because they want to help other people. Yeah. Right? For example, if you've got a doctor who's in it for the money, he's not really concerned about your health or about your treatment. He's concerned about, you know, what next treatment they can put you through. Surgery. Let's take you to surgery. Same with vets and things like that. Same with real estate. Same with coaches. Some are just interested in it to make themselves rich and make the money. And some are interested in it because they really want to better people's lives. But the funny thing is, the ones that are actually in it because they want to better other people's lives tend to usually be the more successful ones anyway. Yeah. I'd agree with that statement. I've had several coaches throughout my time. And I look at you as one of my mentors and one of my coaches and guiders now throughout the real estate career. And I've had a couple that have been fantastic, and that I've had a couple that I've just got nothing out of. But the good thing is you can move on.
Yeah, exactly right. You got to find who you relate to too, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so never take advice from someone who knows less than you, and that is so important. I remember somebody said that to me when I was about 20. And somebody can be highly successful in making money, right?
Yep.
That's great. Take advice of them for that.
Yep.
But if they're very, very overweight and they're telling you how you should lose weight, maybe they're not the right person to talk to about that. Find somebody who's an expert in fitness and health and losing weight. Just because somebody's successful in one area of their life, it doesn't mean that they know everything. So find the person who is an expert in that particular field. I remember somebody told me that, and it was like, absolutely.
Well said. I mean, I'm not going to take advice on heart surgery from someone who packs shelves. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You go to
Exactly.
the
Step
specialist,
back.
you go to the expert.
Step back and say, how successful is that person in that particular thing they're talking about, before you take advice. I think that's really important.
I think that's a very, very well stated comment. And I agree with 100%. 100%.
Yep. Okay. Don't spend your commission until you have it in your bank account. And that's so true, because anything can happen. Don't say it's definitely coming. Just like don't say that you've got a property sold until it's settled. It's like, I never would say, oh, I sold that and you've just taken a deposit. It's like, yep, deposit taken. Even when it's, settled, unconditional, whatever, it's still, you never know, it's kind of, and, you don't count your money until you get paid.
I've got a saying, Lisa, until it's in the bank, consider it a fake. Right.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, like, it doesn't exist. Okay. Yeah. And that's part of the way we brought up. But in today's society, I was watching adverts on TV last night, and it's access your pay now. Right.
Yeah.
Everything is hire purchase. The only things that I have hire purchase is my work vehicle and mortgages. Everything else is paid for straight out, right? Or saved up for and purchased. I never hire purchase anything unless it's a mortgage. But that comes down to lessons that you're taught by your parents or through your peers throughout your life, because some people just live on credit. Some people have credit cards that 20, 30, 40 grand credit cards, and I just can't wrap my head around it. But very good advice. Don't spend the money until it's in the bank.
Exactly. The next one, do not let a group of buyers go in opposite directions. Keep them in a herd. I don't know about that one. I prefer to get them in different directions, and I'm not sure what they're relating to, because if you've got a whole lot of buyers together and one of them doesn't like the property and says, oh, look at this, or, this has been on the market for ages, or God, this is overpriced, I prefer to keep them separate. So I don't know, what's your take on that one?
Just repeat that one again, Lisa, for me.
Do not let a group of buyers go in opposite directions. Keep them in a herd.
Okay, so
There's
I don't quite understand. It could be interpreted a few different ways. Like, for example, if you have an auction, you obviously want everybody to be there in one place to be able to see what everyone else is doing. But at the same token, with an open inspection, everybody's there at the same place, see what everyone's doing. But at the same time, sometimes when you do take a buyer through privately and there's nobody else there, they don't know how much competition there may be or may not be. I'm a bit sort of 50-50 on that one, Lisa.
Maybe it's I don't know.
Because
anyway,
for example, if you've got a buyer that's really, really keen, okay, and they're talking a certain figure, and you brought them through a property privately, they don't know how much competition there may or may not be. But if they come to an open inspection, there's only 2 other buyers in the property at the time, because you've kept those buyers together.
Yeah, maybe they're saying that kind of thing. But I mean, if you're going to do private inspections, then you'd make them, 15 minutes apart and have the next buyers lined up. I mean, you could still create that kind of.
There is a lot of power. There is a lot of power in if somebody does set up a private inspection, you get other phone calls from other buyers that want to attend as well, that you have them all locked up at the same time. So they think that they were getting a private inspection, but then there's actually other buyers there. That can be powerful. So maybe that's what they're talking about, and I would agree with it in that instance. Maybe. It just comes down to the way that you as an agent negotiate, really, because that's going to come into line with that, I believe.
Okay, moving areas, including states, every couple of years doesn't work well in real estate, and that's true. It's you want to be established, you want to be well known in your area, you want to build your pipeline, all of that sort of thing. Because a seller that you're talking to today might not sell for 5 years or 10 years.
Yeah, I find that the first year in real estate is very difficult. You're grinding away, you're trying to get your foot in the door, you're trying to be known. The second year, you try and let people know that, hey, that guy's out there and they're actually doing some business and they're transacting. Then the third year is you start to get people coming to you because they know this person just doesn't give up. They're out there, they're out there. They're determined. Imagine how determined they're going to be for my property. And it's really year 4 in real estate that things start to come together. So if you're moving areas every couple of years, you're really not gaining any traction.
No, you're starting a brand new business.
Yeah, you're starting again.
Yep. Stay where you are. Build your business.
I've got a farm area that I've been working. Well, I agree. I've got a farm area or business development area, whatever you want to call it, which I've been working here in South Australia, Gillis Plains, and I've been in there since 2010. And it took me a good, 18 months to get any traction in there. But now I'll sell 18 to 20 houses there a year. And my closest competitor as a company will sell 2. So that's just from a long slog of doing it. It's nothing to do with Bjorn. It's just from 10 years, 11 years of people seeing my face everywhere. That's all that is. So consistency and persistency.
Yeah. Never tell a seller you have an offer coming in prior to getting it on contract. Definitely, because the seller will be like, have you got that offer yet? And then they're getting upset. They're getting agitated. They're probably looking at other properties. And no.
One thing I was taught very early in my career by the first mentor I had, the first gentleman I worked for, was that unless it's in writing, it doesn't exist. Unless they're willing to put pen to paper and commit to that in some sort of legal documentation, the offer doesn't exist.
Yep.
So don't mention it.
Yep, that's the next point. If it's not in writing, you have nothing until it's in blood. And that's
100%.
I got caught by an agent, actually, not so long ago. An agent, I did a referral, and it was somebody I knew and all that sort of thing. And I was waiting for him to do certain things. And anyway, wasn't in writing. And anyway.
It goes both ways. I've heard buyers tell me stories about how, the agent said we've got it and all this sort of stuff, and that they were going to send the contract through, whatever, and then it never came through. And then we rang them back up and, sorry, we sold it to somebody else. It's just, don't tell things that aren't 100% set in concrete, no matter what it is in life. Keep your integrity, whether it's an offer, whether it's saying something that's true or untrue, just keep it real, keep it true. If it's in writing, it's real.
Yeah,
it's not in writing, it's in the cosmos.
And you don't trust anybody until it's in writing either. It's you got to protect yourself as well.
I've always looked at it like when you go to buy a lounge suite, if you just stand there and look at the lounge suite and you say you're going to buy it, you'll never buy the lounge suite. Once you sit in that lounge suite and you feel it and you're getting comfortable, then you're ready to buy it. It's the same with the house. They can't stay overnight. They can't sleep in the house overnight. But it's very easy to say, Lisa, I'll give you 500 grand for the house. What do you reckon? Because that's a takeaway. But if you go, here's a form, I need you to fill it out and put all your details on it. And put down your loan details, your deposit details, your broker's details, your interest rate details, all of your clauses. As soon as I pick up that pen and I start filling that in, that's real. That's sitting in the lounge suite. So 100% agree with that comment. 100%.
Yep. All right, talk to the neighbours. And this was one where an agent listed a property, didn't talk to the neighbours. Other properties came up for sale and kicking themselves, obviously, because they didn't canvass around the new listing. So that's something where you do lose money if you list a property and you don't canvass around it and look for sellers around that property. Other sellers will sell. So you've got the opportunity. Talk to the sellers around that. Talk to the people around that property.
You know what? That's a really good comment and really good statement. Whoever actually put that one up there, because that's actually something for an agent that's new. Right? A lot of agents get complacent as they go on throughout their careers. I'll do letterbox drops, just listed, under contract. This is how many people came through the open. Like I'll try to hit them up 7 times around the houses that we're selling. Yes. So for example, I've just sold 3 houses recently in my particular street that I live in. You want everybody that's around you to know that you sell real estate. And you don't want other signs coming from other agents. But a lot of agents don't prospect, like you said, around the neighbours. So if you're a new agent, find out where the homes are for sale in the area, grab a CMA report with recent sales, grab a business card, knock on the door. Hi, my name's so-and-so. There's a property for sale down the road from you. It's got this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms. It's asking this much money. Would you like to know what your home's worth? No? Okay, well, here's a report I've printed out for you. You've got all my details. If you ever need me, reach out. Just know that I'll do everything I can when the time comes for you to make sure that you get sold for the highest price. walk on, move on. And you'll be surprised how much business that can actually bring in.
Exactly. If you've got nothing, go find something. That's the sign of a good agent, where you're creating something that didn't exist. You're not waiting for somebody to call you. You're going out and you're actually, you're sourcing the business yourself. That's the sign of a good agent.
That's a really good comment, whoever said that. So thumbs up.
Yeah. Don't get emotionally involved. That's hard, but try and detach yourself, to not be upset with certain things, as we spoke about before.
This is one that I struggle with. I wear my heart on my sleeve, Lisa. I care about all my clients as if they were my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister.
I know.
So I used to have things in for example, where things would go wrong with a listing or something, and I'd go into panic mode. They used to call it bang bang mode. Bjorn's in bang bang mode, just because something goes wrong, I've got to fix it, and I've got to fix it straight away, and I've got to rectify it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got to get it all straight away. You cannot wait. Everything else to the side. This client needs me. It's an emergency situation. Let's perform CPR. Let's bring this thing back to life, right?
Yes.
And the other people in my office, you say, Bjorn, relax, just chill, man. Don't worry about it. Put it to. And I'll be like, how can you say that? If you're telling me to relax and you're telling me to put it to the side, don't you give a rat's about your clients? So there's some ways in that way that if things go wrong, you've got to sort of care to a certain level to fix it. But at the same time, don't get emotionally involved. You can't get emotionally involved with what's going on in your clients' personal lives.
No.
So you can't bring yourself into their separation, or you can't bring yourself into their marriage, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a fine line, and you've got to care, but you do have to sometimes cop it on the chin.
But I think too, when you go to bed of a night, you ask yourself, have I done my best? And that was what I always did. Have I done my best? Yes, I have. There's nothing else I could do. And if I could have done better, then it's like, okay, I could have done better with that. Always analyzing. Could I have done that better? And if you couldn't, then that's all you can do.
Exactly. And if it's a situation where a client's being nasty to you, or a client's not being polite to you, or treating you with the same respect as what you would, definitely don't get don't get emotionally
don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally. But if you've done something wrong, then I think you've got to take that on board. So very good comment.
Okay, buyers are liars, but sellers are worse. I don't like that saying. I hate buyers are liars. I hate it because buyers don't know what they want until they get it. Buyers will come in and say, I want a 4-bedroom house with a double garage in this suburb. And they end up buying a 3-bedroom house in a different suburb for more money. Okay. It's not that they lied. That's what they thought they wanted, but they didn't see this property, and they walked in and went, oh my God, I love it. It's down the road from mum and dad, and not exactly what we wanted, but man, I love it. They're not liars. They just don't know what they want until they see it.
I think it's like in this industry, right? Let's say, for example, you don't go around telling people, hey, you look fat. Hey, you look ugly. You don't do that, right? So let's say somebody sets up a private inspection for a house, because this was going around back in the early, 2008, 2009, when I started my career, and it was everywhere. People say buyers are liars, buyers are liars. Maybe it's just the fact that you're asking somebody, so what do you think about the house? And instead of them going, nah, look, I don't like it at all. It's not for me, 100%, not interested. They'll turn around and go, yeah, it's not too bad. Have you got an offer form? Because it's just a polite way of separating yourself to step out of that situation as a buyer without creating any confrontation. Because humans, we don't really like confrontation. We like to feel like we're part of something. So I wouldn't say necessarily buyers are liars, but maybe buyers feel uncomfortable in certain situations to be brutally honest with us agents in order to say, no, it's not for me, or no, I don't like it. So they do sort of say, yeah, it's not too bad. I might be interested in that one, and so on and so forth. So I don't like the comment because it's a very negative comment. But it could be taken either way.
Okay, I guess what you're saying is like they go to an open house and they go, are you looking at buying? And they go, yeah, and they're just a neighbour sticky beaking. Okay, that could be it. But they're not a buyer. They're just a neighbour sticky beaking. So
I think you've got to understand, when a buyer's negotiating with you, they're holding their cards close to their chest, right? Because they're feeling like it's the agent versus the buyer. So the ideal way to get rid of that is to make it feel like you're the person who helps facilitate the transaction. Okay, and that the buyers are competing against the other buyers, because when you get a situation like that, you don't have the buyers telling you porky pies and things like that. But
but negotiations are different because it's protecting your position as well. If they're saying, if the agent says, will you pay more, and the buyer says no, but they will, they don't want to tell the agent, because otherwise they're going to have to pay more. That would be, whether you say it's a lie or whether you say it's a negotiation tactic. No, they're not being completely honest, but they're also not stupid. They've got to protect their position.
And that's where you could hear that comment coming into play. It's like, oh, we want to offer $450,000 for this house. If it goes for a single dollar more, that's it. We're done. We don't have any more money. We can't pay any more. That's where buyers maybe lie.
And next thing, they get a loan from their auntie or something, they say. And So okay. Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yes. Okay. 5 minutes before an open house is not enough time remaining to use the toilet. There's a few of the toilet ones, actually. There's a few of the toilet ones, but that is true. Don't do that.
That's true.
Okay? Don't do that. True. Okay. Another one, not having bought enough real estate 30 years ago. That was what they learnt the hard way. And yes, everyone says that. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. And yes, we all should have bought a lot of property 30 years ago, hung on to it and selling it now.
What's expensive today is cheap tomorrow. Because price is going up. I just did a Facebook post this morning and I said the biggest tip I can give any buyer right now is not to squabble over dollars and cents, because you will continue to miss out.
Do you mean whatever's cheap now is expensive tomorrow?
No. So let's say the property's $500,000 today and you go, wow, that's expensive. Like,
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, the next one that comes up in 2 or 3 weeks' time might be $510,000. So what seems expensive today, the $500,000, may seem cheap tomorrow because hey, we got it for 500. The next one that's come up that's similar is now asking 530. So wow, ours is actually cheaper. Do you get what I mean?
Yes. Sorry, I'm not awake yet.
That's all right.
Okay, all right. So connection and rapport are important, but if you don't close, you have nothing. You will not eat.
Very, very wise statement.
Absolutely. You have to build trust. You have to get somebody like no trust. And if you don't close, if you don't ask the business, you have nothing. If you don't say, would you like to put your property on the market now?
There's ways of doing it.
Do you have a property to sell? Yes.
You've got to ask, ask and you shall receive. It says it in the Bible. It's very straightforward. You can't expect a glass of water unless you ask for a glass of water, or get off your butt and go get one,
Exactly.
So
you need
to ask for business. And you have to be nice about it too, but you can't be too nice in the fact that like, that's okay, take as much time as you need, guys. I'm not going anywhere, because somebody else will come in, they'll close them. And you'll think that you've got all the best rapport in the world, and they'll ring up and they go, look, you were lovely, we really got along well with you, we really liked you, but they offered us a special deal and they said that if we did it now, they'd give us this and this and this, so we're really, really sorry, but we've actually signed with them. So you don't want to be in that situation.
No, ask for the business.
Ask for the business.
And then the other thing, that stocks are optional. That is true. I don't know why they learnt it the hard way, but socks are optional. That's what they said. Well, maybe they've just learnt that socks are optional. See, it's another thing about socks. It always comes up in real estate. It just always does. But anyway, okay.
I'll let that one go.
Make sure you've got the right keys to the property before and open. And that is so true. We've all done that. We've all set alarms off. We've all had keys in the garage door and somebody's opened up the garage door and snapped the key off. All of those different things have happened.
If you failed to prepare, Lisa, be prepared to fail. So make sure you prepare yourself in the morning for what's ahead for the day that's ahead.
Exactly. Make sure somebody else doesn't take the keys home. Make sure that you lock the back doors of a house after an open house. Don't the owners get home after a weekend away and the back door's been unlocked all day. And make sure when you go to an open house that people are still not in the backyard when you lock the doors and go. That's happened before. I know of people that's happened to. They've locked people in the back door, in the backyard. So all of those things for an open house. Lock the front door to the house before using the toilet. That was another one.
That's a very good one, Lisa. I agree with this person 100% because I've actually been caught out once before. And let's just leave it at that. And let's
Okay.
move forward.
All right.
Lock the doors.
Never release the deposit to the vendor prior to settlement.
Well, in South Australia, we hold the deposits in a sales trust account. So no deposits are released to vendors in any
Well,
way.
sometimes they can, and then it can be a nightmare after that. Yeah. Okay.
You know what? Another one that goes along with that, don't accept cash from buyers. Like, hey mate, if you get me this house, you know, I'm happy to give the vendor a 10 grand cash on the side or anything else.
Oh no, exactly. No.
I've had so many buyers recently trying to do that with me, and I'm like, sorry, mate.
In an envelope. Actually, that's a really good question. Let's ask that, because that would be something now. I remember getting envelopes under a table when the market was tight. That's something we'll ask. Remind me.
I've had buyers say to me, look, if you can help me get this property, I'll give you 3 grand cash, I'll give you 5 grand cash. And I'm like, look, sorry, I can't accept your money.
Wow.
For one, it's illegal. For two, it's unethical. For three, I'm not bloody Al Capone, and we're not, you know, in a criminal underworld. My license is worth, and my integrity is worth a lot more. Every buyer's getting an equal opportunity. Put that extra money on top of your offer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if I'm looking for a bit of a bonus, I will go back to my vendors and say, look, this is where we're at. If I can get you an extra 5 or 10 or 15 grand, are you happy to share a little bit of that with me? That is an ethical way of putting that money into your pocket without doing anything dodgy or illegal.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So don't ask the tenant on a date. They have boyfriends. Okay. So everybody be careful about that. Find out somebody's situation, or just don't ask tenants out. I don't know.
I don't think that any clients, whether they're a tenant, whether they're a homeowner, I think you should just keep business over here and pleasure over here.
I think so too. Okay. People lie. That was another one of those. The grind of everyday consistency is the hardest thing to do to be number one.
Very well said. Consistency and persistency are king.
Yeah. And it is the hardest thing to do, like to discipline, motivation and discipline. And you really kind of, discipline comes first, I think, and then motivation comes after that.
Yeah. You've got to be, in real estate, to be a successful real estate agent, it's all on you. You can't rely on your boss. You can't rely on your company. You can't rely on your brand. You can't rely on anybody but you.
No, exactly.
So you've really got to make sure that you're willing to put in the work, okay? Because there's agents out there that just work like absolute animals that have zero personality, and I don't know how they connect with anybody, and they're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And then there's other agents out there that are like the nicest people in the world, and you think, man, this person, but they just don't want to do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
The work will always win over the personality. It will.
Okay, parents, sales equals Panadol. Yes. It's difficult when you've got parents or a parent that used to be a real estate agent and they're a building inspector. Like that would be that would be a really, really tough one, wouldn't it? Because the buyers are definitely not buying that house then. You know, it's like the parents are trying to take care of their children and make sure they get the right property. And if they haven't seen everything else that's around and all of that sort of thing, and it can make it very difficult. And a lot of kids miss out on buying beautiful properties because of their parents.
I had one recently where they said, what do we have to put down to take it off the market right now? I rang the vendor and said, this is the question I've been asked. Is there an answer for this question? They said, give us 480 and we'll sign a contract now. I did that. And I said, congratulations. We now need to put the contract together. I did the contracts, got them off to the vendors. The vendors will sign them. The buyer hadn't signed. Followed them up again. Hey, no answer. Followed them up again. No answer. Turns out mum and dad got involved, uncles and aunties got involved, the family community got involved, the dog got involved, the cat got involved, everyone's getting involved. And now they're like, we really want to purchase this property, but 480 is too much. We've revisited our offer at 460 now. Unfortunately, I'm going to be telling those particular purchases, which I already have, I don't think it's going to happen. There's other higher offers than that. So you're going to miss out. They're like, come on, Bjorn, please, please. I'm like, is your parents buying the house or are you buying the house? This is where my post came from about, do you want to miss out? $20,000 is the difference we're talking about here. At 1.89% interest, it works out to $1.03 per day in interest.
Yes.
So really, for $1, you want to miss out on that particular property. Now, it's not to do with the $1, it's to do with the parents getting into the years of the kid. So
Exactly. And they miss out on them.
they're going to miss out. And the next one they're going to see with me is going to be $500,000 plus, and they're going to miss out on that too. And the next one's going to be 520, and they're going to keep on missing out. Yeah, that's just the way that it is. So you've got to listen to yourself. You can't listen to your friends. You can't listen to family. You've got to be a grown up and make your own decisions.
Exactly. All righty. So now we're going on to another topic, which I thought was interesting. Does your signboard have a photo? And we ran a poll, and there were 50 votes for yes and 41 votes for no. Now, some of the ones that said no were Ryan McCann, Michael Clark, Mark McGill, Emil Jurassic, Andrew Panisi, Denise Haynes, Matt Morley. Most of those people, the ones that said no, are principals, or they're principals of offices. So I asked them why they don't. So these are some of the comments back, the ones that said no. They think it's old school. A few said their heads are too rough. Okay. Some said that it's about the property, not about the agent. Their photo adds no value to the sellers. They are focused more on digital marketing and their brand to attract a wider scope, so YouTube and whatever, and the signboard is only local. A few of them that I asked were McGrath, and they don't have photo signboards. So they said they never needed it before, so they don't need it now. The signs are cleaner and more consistent with their brand, more corporate looking without photos. No cliched image or smiling faces. People might judge the agent based on their looks, and they don't want them to do that. They want to, sort of, it's all about the house. Okay. Principals want the brand promoted more than the salesperson to build the brand presence. And they don't want a penis drawn on their head. Okay.
I think the second last comment that you just said,
principals want the brand promoted more than
I honestly believe that all the rest of them are smoke and mirrors, in all honesty, and I apologize if I upset people by saying this. The only one of those which I believe is 100% legitimate, is true, is that the principal wants the brand, not the agent, to be recognized. Because the principal doesn't want that agent recognized, because the more recognition that particular agent gets, the more well-known that agent gets, the bigger the risk of that agent leaving that principal and moving on.
True. Absolutely.
I believe in my heart and hearts, may God strike me down with a lightning bolt today, that is the only reason why you wouldn't put an agent's image on a signboard. Because I'll tell you why, Lisa. I've got my image on my signboard. It's not huge. And then once I've sold the property, there's a big sold that goes up. People say to me, I see your sold signs. Your sold signs. Not I see your company's sold signs. I don't say who that is. They don't say I see your company's sold signs. They say I see your sold signs everywhere, Bjorn. I want to sell with you. And I believe that adding a like signboards that don't have any images on them, I think are just a complete waste of time. Nobody reads anymore. A signboard should have images of the property, okay? Because let's face it, let's look at it from a psychological point of view from a buyer. Let's take the real estate agent out of it. You see a property online, it attracts you with a first impression. You think, okay, I'm interested in that property. The next thing you do is you do a bit of research around some other properties. Then you get in your car and you go for a drive. Normally, this might happen in the evening. So you drive past the property. Sometimes the street numbers are really small and it's hard to see. You see the signboard. That's the property. You might drive past. The property might be a little bit ugly from the outside. Right? So if you just got a signboard with just text on it and you go, oh, gee, no, I don't like the look of that. You keep driving because you've only got one chance at a first impression. If the property looks a bit ugly from the outside, but you've got an awesome entertaining area at the back and there's a big money shot of that on the sign, you go, wow, you're looking at that. You're not looking at the ugly frontage of the property. It's got a beautiful picture of the kitchen. It's got a beautiful picture of the bathroom. You're looking at those things. I think signboards with text on them, text is a waste of time. I think just how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many living areas, a QR code maybe where they can scan to take them straight to the internet, and then a big agent's name, big agent's number, and agent photo. I think that's what I do. That's what we do. So I'm going to disagree with the people that said no, that it shouldn't be on the signboard, because I think that all that they're doing is protecting their own interest, and they're not helping their agent to promote themselves. Because the neighbours that drive past that signboard, all they see is they see a name, a number, and if they see a photo of the agent, oh, I've seen you around. I've seen you around. It helps the agent get business. So on twofold, it helps the buyer create a good first impression with the property by having photos of the property on there. So what's wrong with having a photo of the agent on there too? I don't think there's anything.
I'm actually really torn because, you know, having my offices before, I was very, very corporate, very, very just stuck on the brand. You know, it was like the for sale sign is the most important thing. Didn't have photos on them, didn't have photo signboards. It was just the brand, the brand, the brand, the brand.
Yep.
I love personal promotion. I love, you know, obviously agents promoting themselves, video marketing, all of that sort of thing. And so, you know, that question, that's why I was like, man, what would I do now? I think if I was a principal with a number of staff, I think I would still be very corporate with the for sale sign. I think I would be. I would still have personal branding as far as, you know, your video marketing and all that sort of stuff, and personalized websites, all that sort of thing.
Yep.
Maybe I think when the property's sold, you know, the stickers like you do, solds or whatever. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. I am a little bit torn, to be honest.
I think for far too long, it's always been about the corporate and about the brand, when the agent is the one that slaves away.
Yeah, but if you're the principal of an office, you're paying rent, you're paying your wages, you're paying all of those sorts of things. You're paying a salary to a salesperson for them to go out and bring the business back and all that sort of stuff. Then the principal really, you know, deserves to have the recognition of the brand, you know, that
well, they do. They have their brand on there.
Yeah.
Personally, Lisa, if a company turned around and said, you can't put any of your image or anything like that on your signboard, I wouldn't work for the company. That's me. So I know this is a let's talk about real estate. So
yeah, no, it is. You know, I'm just saying I'm torn. So, I was kind of like, before that question came up, I was like, oh yeah, everybody these days puts photos on their signboard. You know, it just everybody does.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, actually, do they? And then I put it on and I was like, oh man, yeah. Until I put that there, I would have had photos. I would have just ordered photo signboards. I would have. Yeah. But then when I started to go, hang on a minute, would I or not? Yeah, I'm actually torn. I need to think about this one a little bit more.
Well, from an agent's point of view.
Okay, for a one-man band, if I was like, me opening up an individual office now, definitely photo signboards everywhere, because that's the quickest way I can get my name out there. That would be, everyone in this area would know about me. Be photos, photo flyers, photo signboards, photo everything, you know, videos, everything. If it was just me, if I was the principal, and you know, and then it comes down to the cost as well. If you've got like 20 salespeople, and you've got to buy 20, you know, although they're ordering like the
signboards are ordered.
Like, it's not like you've just got your standard signs. I mean, some of them have just got standard signs though. They don't kind of, you know, they don't vary it. It's just the corporate sign and that's it. You know, they don't kind of modify it at all.
Well, we use a signboard company. You can go on there, you can click around your design, you can put your photos on there, whatever. It's approved by corporate. It has to have a certain image. But it's very simple, very basic. It's got my picture there. It's got my name, my number. It's got the brand at the top. And it's got the 3 photos of the property. And it's got the QR code. And people tell me they like my signboards, like clients and consumers. So let's take all the ego away. Let's take the agent's ego away. And let's take the principal's egos away. I think you've got to have photos on a signboard. I don't know. I know there's companies out there that don't do them. And I just don't like signboard without photos.
I don't think it's the ego of the principal. I think it's more just the brand. You know, like look at McGrath. They don't have photo signboards.
We don't have a lot of McGrath down here.
Yeah.
So, you know, the biggest one that we have down here, which doesn't have photos, is Ray White. And it's just basically for sale, and it's just got the agents' names, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear what everybody else thinks anyway. Yeah. I want to hear what everyone else thinks.
This could get quite heated, this one. But
from an agent's
point of view, I think signboards are a good way for you to get more business. Yeah. And I think that if a principal wants their agents to be bringing in more business, because let's face it, they're getting more money from their agents with the splits that they're giving, or that the agent's giving the principal. I honestly think that there's no harm in having a photo of an agent and a photo of the property on the signboard myself. Yeah. You know what I think the way of the future is, Lisa? The way of the future is, I think signboards are almost out of date. I think what we need is digital signboards, where it's almost like the internet, where it's just photo after photo of the images of the property that just rotate onto onto a signboard.
Yeah,
I still sell properties without signboards, Lisa. So
yeah,
I
of
think
course.
it comes down to what the client wants. But my signboards,
Yeah.
people say they love my signboards.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about other agents. I'm talking about the actual seller of the house who I'm representing their house, who says, yeah, I much prefer having a signboard at the front of my house with some money shots and photos on it. I don't understand why that company just has a for sale with just their names on it, because that to the home seller, just a big whatever company it is with just the names of the agents, the home seller thinks that is just made all about the real estate company. The photos of the property make them feel it's about promoting their house. So I would argue it from that point of view, but I'm 100% on the yes. It should always have your photo, and it should always have the photos of the property.
Okay, so being a principal, if I had 10 salespeople, then I don't know. I'm torn. I'm really torn. Personal branding, individual office, 100%. Just photos everywhere. Photos, videos, everywhere. Principal, I'm still debating. Yeah. All right.
Let's move on.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there was a job application that I put in, or not a job application, what do you call it? A job description. Yes. From Tom Carlin, I think he's in WA.
Yes.
And I put it into Let's Talk About Real Estate, and quite a few people commented on it. So I thought, you've got your standard job descriptions where it's, looking for a receptionist or looking for a director of first impressions who's going to do this and going to do that, and doesn't stand out at all, right?
Yeah.
So Tom Carlin did one a little bit different. So it's, I won't read out the whole thing, but a couple of different lines. He said, dedicated, driven, but enough sass to handle my ups and downs, forever changing decisions, and inability to take no for an answer. And he headed it, I'm looking for a Donna. So he's looking for Donna, like out of Harvey, what's his name, from Suits, right?
Okay.
So I will drive you insane. So if you already have a crazy mind, you won't be able to handle mine too. The honeymoon period is always amazing, but I'm looking for the life, and not just the ritz and glitz, but there for the long term, no matter how hard it gets. It will be an adequate pay for dealing with me, and terrible conditions with the stress. We do offer stress relief every weekend, however. Then the last one is, and praise comes few and far between. So I'll let you know up front, if you stick at it, you're doing an amazing job, So I think it's sort of something a little bit different, and it actually got quite a few comments. So I think it's good to be a little bit different with your job descriptions and putting things out there, and it's going to get seen a little bit more, and it's actually an honest representation of what it's going to be like to work there.
It's very honest, because Tom's a machine. He's a machine. That guy does not stop.
Yeah.
He is 24/7, 7 days a week. He eats, sleeps, breathes, lives real estate. He's an absolute machine, absolute legend of the industry. I couldn't do what he does. I couldn't sacrifice 7 days of my life towards that. So that job description lets anybody know who's coming in. It's a little bit quirky. It's a little bit different. And it lets everybody know that's coming in that this isn't just going to be, here, enter this, enter this. It's going to be a bit stressful. There's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It shows a bit of personality as well. Like, the guy's got personality, but he's also very high maintenance, and he expects a lot of things from his particular employees. I think it sets somebody up that it's a very honest.
Exactly. It's reframing. Like, if you apply for the job, don't say you didn't know what you're getting yourself in for.
Exactly.
You apply for it, you're there. Yeah.
The only thing is, like, when he wrote the bit about I'm looking for a Donna, just in this politically correct day and age, which drives me absolutely
bonkers. Probably.
I just thought, I don't know Donna from Suits. I don't watch a lot of TV, right? So I didn't know it was a Donna from Suits. It's like, I'm looking for a Donna. I just thought the first thing that came to my head is, oh my God, the far left wing are going to crucify him for this because it's a sexist comment. He's only looking for a Donna. He's not looking for a Donna or a Barry. You know what I mean?
A Donna.
And I just thought that he's probably going to get a cop a little bit from the politically correct about he's looking for a Donna.
But all he's saying is that she's amazing in the show. She does everything, organizes everything.
I didn't know that there was a reference.
Like he doesn't have to think about any. Harvey doesn't. She's just done it. Like, can you do that? Done it. Can you do that? Done it.
I don't watch Suits. I don't watch Suits, so I didn't know who Donna was. And
that was his reference to that. But it's
now it makes sense. And I think it's brilliant. But just in this day and age, you got to be careful nowadays, because unless you're politically correct and straight down the line, you get crucified left, right, and centre, which is ridiculous. But
we'll probably get in trouble for just saying that.
I'll get in
Anyway.
trouble for saying that because I'm
Yeah.
extremely politically incorrect. I think that's the way that it should be.
Yeah,
But that's
no,
just
I get into trouble all the time. And let's talk about real estate. I get people saying, "I can't believe you posted that," and it's like, I didn't even think it was that bad. Like, really? But anyway,
Yeah.
you got to have a laugh too. Anyway, you can't keep everybody happy.
I
Another,
loved his ad. I loved it.
yeah,
Tom, awesome, 10 out of 10. Love it,
yeah.
love it, love it.
And I
Love it.
think it's great too. I love it. That's why I put it in there. I thought it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Another news: Danny Hayes is still in Big Brother. Will he get kicked out? I reckon. Did you see it last night?
Yeah, I did. I watched it last night. And
Now Big Brother's turning. Now they're gonna like set it up that it's like he's been on top, he's been on top, he's been on top, and now they're gonna make him like the others. They're giving Tilly and Ari, you know, kind of space to get together to come back, and you know, because people are going, oh, Danny did this, and Danny turned on what's the name, Adriana, whatever her name is.
yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised now if he does get kicked out, you know, whether he does make the top 3. I think he'll probably make the top 3. I don't know now.
I don't think he'll win it. I know that all my mates, everybody I know who watches the show, they only watch it for Danny. And when I'm watching the show, last night was a little bit different because there wasn't too much of Danny in there because obviously with the task with stacking the bricks on those wobbly things, Danny wasn't doing, Danny didn't do that well. He was sort of like, bloody hell, bugger this. So there wasn't a lot of Danny in that.
Yeah.
But I honestly
think that was a hard task.
Yeah. I honestly think it's going to be Marley or what's the other girl, the dark-haired girl?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Chelsea or...
no.
I
can't remember the name either. Christina?
I honestly think now, I'm honestly thinking now it's going to be Christina or Marley.
Yeah.
They're going to win it.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think Danny's there for the entertainment.
Yeah. I think now they're turning on him. He'll be the, you know, because he did go, because Adriana was upset. So it's like all these people are going to go, oh, you know, poor Adriana and Danny did this. And
I disagree with 2 things Danny said last night. He said, that's it. We can all agree my real estate career is over. No, it's not, mate. Your real estate career is not over. Okay. People that are real will like to deal with people that are real, and you're real and you'll get the same business you did before, if not more. And secondly, he said that he's now the most hated guy in Australia. I don't think so. It's a game. It's a game. You can't not evict people.
No, exactly.
You know, it's a strategic game, and if you've got to play the game, you've got to
and he's got his game plan. He's got his vision, and he's worked out in his head. If I get rid of them, then I'll do that. Then I'll do this. Then I'll be left with them, and he's just doing it. Like
I think he's got the most power in the house. But I think now that what he did last night to that Adriana, I think she's going to now, with the tears and the emotions, she's going to get people to turn against him.
Yeah,
because
it's like now it's a public vote, isn't it?
Look what he's done. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
if it's a public vote, if it goes to public vote, I think Marley's going to win it because of Marley's story about why. Okay, and he doesn't need the money. The other guy, that Ari, that got kicked out. I can't stand Ari. Sorry, Ari. Just not a fan. Oh, I'm going to burn down this house before someone takes the money away from me. Stop being a spoiled little prat, all right?
Yeah.
Burn down the house. Shut up, you idiot.
I know.
But Marley's cause with what he wants to do because he lost his mom and he's got all that story behind him. And,
and he's cute. All the young
all that sort of stuff.
Him.
I think that'll appeal to the public. They'll like that. So if it's a public vote, I think Marley's going to take it.
I think so. Okay, so anything else that's happened in real estate in the last week that you want to talk about?
Not really. It's been a pretty good week. Few sales, few settlements. I think there was a couple of articles that came out. The Australian market is now worth $8 trillion. So that's exciting. And there's articles stating that the house prices in some areas are going up by $10,000 a week.
Yeah.
How far this can go, how long it can go, we'll have to wait and see. I can't see interest rates going anywhere. So I think we're in pretty much of the same for the coming months ahead, in my personal opinion. I think it's going to continue the way it is. It's going to continue strong. Buyers need to get in. And home sellers, well, I think you've got a little bit of time. I don't think we're right at the peak just yet. I did think when the government removed their grants, their home builders grant, I thought that was the peak and that we're going to start tapering down and tapering off. What I've found in the market is that there's been less buyers out and about, but the prices have still been increasing and still being steady and strong. So I think it's much of the same moving forward. So that's my market.
Okay, I'll come back to the signboard thing, and I think you've got to do what's right for you with the signboard. You know, like some people are going to want photos on, some people aren't. It's what sits right with you, whether you want, you know, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts on particularly the signboards. What did you learn the hard way? Do you like the different style of job advertisement as Tom Carlin did? And also, will Danny win Big Brother? So they're the questions.
Just before we go, I was thinking about what I learned the hard way in real estate.
Yeah.
Right. And the hardest thing I learned was that you've got to be in the right vehicle. So that was first and foremost. You've got to be in the right vehicle, in the right atmosphere, in the right. I spent about 3 or 4 years early in my career in a fairly non-ethical, sort of semi-toxic environment. So that would be the first and foremost. The second thing I wrote down is get the best CRM that you can have, because data
and use it.
And use it well. And then, I just thought that you've got to be, very dedicated with your daily routines and your daily tasks. You've got to know what's coming ahead. So there's 3 of the things that I learned the hard way. Being with the wrong business, not having the right CRM, and not being organized. So I think they're 3 things that I would say that if I went back to Bjorn, 12 years, 13 years ago when I started real estate, I'd say be a little bit more cautious about who you go into business with, and make sure you have an understanding of the CRMs and which ones are the easiest and best for you to use, and use it properly, and make sure you manage your time a little bit better, and get a little bit more structured, know exactly what's going on moment by moment, day by day.
Focus on belly to belly and what's going to make you money.
So there's my input for the 3 things.
I'll take care of people.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Awesome. So what did you guys learn the hard way? Do you have photo signboards? Why not? Do you like the different style of job advertisement? And will Danny win Big Brother? Okay, until next week.
Auf Wiedersehen.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question about real estate, then please join the group on Facebook, also called Let's Talk About Real Estate. For those of you who are interested in EXP, please join us at 10 a.m. Brisbane time every Wednesday morning for EXP Explained. Thank you again for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and see you next week.